Hello and welcome back to Gapeys Garden. It is almost August, so I thought it would be a good time to do a July fig update. We have a few brebas that we've harvested from, and our main crops are looking really good too. Still lots of brebas yet to pick, probably in August. So I'll take a look at those. And we are having some problem with leaf drop on a few trees again this year. So I'll show you what's going on there. So let's take a look. Here's the fig tree that was behind me in the intro. This is our Olympian fig tree. It's one of 3 that we have in ground, and it's been in ground probably 4 or 5 years now. And we do have some breba figs on it that we have not yet harvested, and we've got some pretty good sized main crop figs in here too. And honestly, it's really hard to tell which ones were the breba figs and which were the main crop. I haven't harvested any, but I know for sure this big one here is a breba fig. But it's kind of hard to tell which other ones there are. I know there was at least 6 or 7 in here, but our main crop is getting really big. You can see how big that is. So they might actually ripen this year. I have not yet had a harvest of main crop on this tree because it just doesn't seem to be a long enough season. But these are looking really good, and this tree has really bushed out this year, and I'm probably going to have to prune this one back pretty hard. There's some really low branches that I'd like to get rid of that have just some really small figs on them. But I mean, there's a lot of main crop on here, so hopefully we'll get at least a few of these to ripen. Now, this is our Lattarula or honey fig, and this one, I counted 40 breba figs on this one, and I also got a main crop going on pretty good on this tree as well. I haven't counted all the main crops. There's just too many, but this one I've actually had a main crop harvest from, so I think maybe we'll see some this year. It's kind of hard to see behind this net that we have on here to protect the figs from rats and the birds, but hopefully you can see some of those figs in there. That one there is pretty big and looks about ready to harvest. We've got quite a few figs down here on the bottom that are breba figs that are probably going to be ready to harvest here anytime. Ooh, we've got one drooping here that's probably about ready. This one is definitely ready. So Lattarula, once they start getting kind of brown black spots like that, that is a good sign that it is ready to harvest. So I think I'm going to go ahead and harvest that one right now, and I'll show you what it looks like. All right, here is what it looks like. I think they call these sugar spots maybe. It's not mold, it's not fuzzy or anything like that. It is just a sign that it is very ripe and ready to eat. So I've already harvested, I think, 6 or 7 or so of these. I put most of them in the freezer because I'm hoping to have enough to make jam this year. But I think I'll go ahead and cut this one open and show you what it looks like on the inside. I just fished around in the Lattarula tree some more and found a bunch more ripe figs. So we're gonna bring these inside and stick them in the freezer. All right, let's take a look at the inside of this Lattarula. Looking pretty juicy. I've had quite a few of these Lattarula figs, so I know already that this is going to be a tasty fig. Yep, tastes just like a big ball of honey. A little bit of seed crunch, but not too much. So good. Here's the last of our in-ground fig trees. So this is the Desert King. This is the most popular fig tree in the Pacific Northwest, and for good reason. It makes a really big breba crop, and it is just really tasty. It's looking really good. I tried growing it one year and it just kept dying back every year. It was just growing too much in the summer and not lignifying. So lignifying is when the wood turns this brown color. It goes from green like this to brown, and that protects it during the winter time. But for some reason, the one I had planted before just would not lignify. So I'm really hoping that this one lignifies and survives the winter, and maybe next year we'll get a breba crop off of it. Fingers crossed. But this particular variety does produce main crop. You can see main crop here, but they are not going to ripen because we don't have the fig wasp. So some fig varieties require the fig wasp to pollinate, and this main crop on this particular fig requires that. So these will likely drop at some point because we don't unfortunately have that fig wasp. I almost forgot, I do have one more in-ground fig tree. This one was kind of not really planted here on purpose. This was a cutting from last year that I just stuck in the ground when I was root pruning one of my fig trees. This is the, let's see, Nero 600M. And by my surprise, it actually rooted. I didn't do any kind of protection over winter, and it did die to the ground. So this is from last year, and so this died, and it started a new branch coming out from the ground. And just noticed it's actually got a little baby fig on there, but I highly doubt that's gonna ripen by the end of the year because it's really tiny. But it's actually not doing too bad, so I don't know, I might leave it here. But this is in one of my raised beds that I've got here. I've got some beans planted right next to it, so I don't know, I think I'll just leave it here and see what it does. Okay, we are up on the deck now, and this is where I have a couple of trees that I had for sale at my plant sale that didn't sell, and then the rest of these are my breba fig producers because I thought I would keep them up here to protect them from the rats because we have seen some rats in the garden here. But this one here is the Vincenzo. So this is the one that I've harvested from besides the Lattarula, and we still have one fig left on here. So I was going to do a fig tasting video of this one until I realized I did a fig tasting of this last year. So I don't think I'm going to post it even though I recorded it. But this one is still, I mean, it is pretty big, but it's still pretty hard. So for some reason it's taking a while for this one to soften up, but it should be ready here pretty soon. And then this one here is the Santa Cruz Dark. I think I got some off of this last year as well, but this one, oh, I just accidentally dropped it off. That must mean that it is ready to harvest, but this one only had one fig on it, so let's take a look at this one. I'll put links to my fig tasting videos for this one, as well as the Vincenzo from last year. So here is, let's see if we can get some better light here. So here it is. It feels, I don't know, it doesn't feel all that soft, so I'm not sure if it didn't fully ripen or maybe it ripened and it just got dried out. But we'll have to take a look inside of that one too, and we'll see how that one looks like. As I suspected, it is really dry inside. Probably doesn't taste very good either. Now this one here is I-258, probably one of my favorite figs. This one has 2 breba figs on it, and they feel pretty similar to the Santa Cruz Dark actually, but they are drooping, but they still feel kind of firm. So hopefully they get a little softer before they fall off. And then we've got our Black Ischia. I always get the Santa Cruz Dark and Black Ischia mixed up for some reason. I'm pretty sure this is the one that I did a fig tasting video on last year. I'm not sure I did one on Santa Cruz Dark or not. I'll have to check, but we've only got one fig on this one, and it feels pretty similar to the other ones that I felt. So I'm not sure, hopefully that gets soft. But this one, I forgot to show you the main crop figs on these. These ones are still pretty small, so I'm not sure if those are gonna ripen. We've got pretty small ones on I-258 as well, but we have some pretty decent sized one on Santa Cruz Dark. Actually, there's 2 of them on there. Pretty large main crops, and then we've got some pretty big ones on Vincenzo as well. Let's get back to these guys. We got one more fig with some breba on it. This is the Long de Out. This is probably the most unique shaped fig you'll ever see. They are really long, kind of a yellow orange color, but I don't think there's any other fig that is quite this shape. But this is another really good one as well. So I've got 2 of those. I've got a net around one and not the other one, but I'll probably put one around that one as well. And then these 2 are not breba figs, at least they don't have any breba figs. But this is one that I was gonna sell because I have, I think, 2 or 3 of these already, but this is probably my favorite fig. This is the White Madeira #1, and it is loaded with main crops. So I'm kind of glad I didn't sell it because we've got quite a few figs on there, and hopefully we'll get those to ripen And then the other one I was gonna sell, which I may end up just tossing because it's never produced a single fig and it just hasn't really been growing. This is the, what's it called? The Stella. So I know a few people that have Stella and they aren't really that excited about it. It's supposed to be a good container fig, but it's just never really produced anything. So I'm pretty disappointed with that one, and it's probably going to be going away soon. All right, so in front of the greenhouse, this is where all the rest of the figs are. I've got probably 40 something. I don't even know how many I have anymore. But they're almost all different varieties. There's a couple that I have duplicates of, but these ones here on the left are the ones that are in 5-gallon containers and are my oldest varieties. And these are the ones mainly that I've been having the most problem with leaf drop. So I'll show you some of these. So this one here is the LSU Tiger. It still has leaves, but they are starting to get some crispy edges and starting to get yellow. It does have a couple figs on each of the branches here. So I don't know. I think this one also dropped leaves last year, and I'm pretty sure this one needs to be root pruned. I think that's one of the main issues that I'm having with these older figs is they just need a root prune or a bigger container. So same problem here with, let's see, this one is the Brandon Street Unknown. I'm pretty sure this one dropped leaves last year as well. We've got a few figs on them, but I think they're going to drop because they're already kind of soft. So that's not a good sign. But our leaves have started dropping on this one as well. You can see they're kind of droopy, getting yellow. Just not a good thing. And then we've got, let's see, this one is the Marseille Black VS. This one actually still looks pretty good. I think I did do a root prune on this one last year. The leaves aren't looking too bad. We've got some figs on both of these branches here, so not looking too shabby. So hopefully those will ripen. And then we've got Robert's Golden Rainbow. This one only has one leaf left. It's really unfortunate because the figs look really, really nice. It just doesn't have any leaves. So I think with no leaves, those probably are not going to be very tasty figs if they even ripen or not. And then we've got this one that has lost all its leaves as well, and it's got quite a few figs on it too, which is really unfortunate. But that one is the Tacoma Violet. And I thought I did a root prune on this one last year, so I'm really surprised that this is one that has dropped figs, or dropped leaves. So I don't know about that one. And then this one here is the Ronde Bordeaux, also dropped all its leaves. So I think I just really need to up my fertilizer game and get some root pruning done in the spring. It's really too late right now to do any root pruning. And then we've got our Nero 600M. It's actually looking fairly well. It still has most of its leaves, so it's not, hopefully doesn't drop its leaves, but we've got quite a few figs on there that will hopefully ripen. And then our Burgessot Grease here, this one I think I might have root pruned this one last year, so it still has all its leaves. I think it did lose its leaves the year before I root pruned it. So this one is looking pretty promising. Hopefully we get to keep all those leaves. So the rest of these don't look nearly as, well, I shouldn't say all of them, but some of them are looking bad, but the majority of the ones over here are looking pretty decent. We've got Old Yeller here. This is one I got from Ivy Organics. I don't know anybody else that's growing this one, so hopefully it doesn't require the fig wasp, because the Ivy Organics is in California where they do have the fig wasp. So this is kind of a mystery fig there, so we'll have to see how that one does. I don't see any figs on it, so I don't think that one's going to produce any this year. This one, it's supposed to be Kathleen's Black, but it's an unknown variety because it's not what it is. But this one lost all its leaves and the figs are all kind of dried up, so that one is not gonna do anything. This is the one that I had clover growing in the top of it. I thought maybe that would add some extra nitrogen to the soil and maybe help, but it did not help one bit. So I'm probably gonna tear out all that clover out of there because it made it difficult to fertilize with granular feed. With that in there, I couldn't really mix it into the soil. So definitely gonna repot that and remove that clover. We've got this one here is also losing leaves. So that's a bummer. Just a lot of leaf drop issues. So it's kind of disappointing. We've got, let's see, white Madeira #1. This is another white Madeira that I have that's not looking too bad. It still has most of its leaves and it's got a ton of main crop figs on it. So that's really good. I've got 2 pots here that are in 7 gallons that I did a root pruna on, I think both of these last year, and they are looking pretty good. They have all their leaves and still have lots of main crop figs on them. So that is the Burgessot Grease, and I've also got the Figo Preto here. Both of those are really late ripening varieties. So I don't know if they're gonna have time to ripen or not. I might move these into the greenhouse a little later this season to extend the season. We've got, a bunch more of these starting to turn yellow. I'm not going to go over all of these because there's just too many. But we've got this one here that looks really nice. This is the Improved Celeste, so the leaves are looking nice and green. We've got some main crop figs on both of those branches, so I'm really happy about that one, nice and healthy. This row I tried something different with. I top dressed with compost this entire row, and I think that really helped because the leaves on this row are looking nice and green and healthy for the most part. So I think that might be what I'll try next year, is do a top dress of compost maybe a couple times throughout this season, because these look worlds different, and much better than all the rest. But I'm going to go over what some of these ones are. This is the Red Lebanese Baca Valley. So this one looks really nice, has several figs on it. So I think this is going to be the first year I may get some main crop on them. These are probably the biggest main crops that I have. These ones are the, I can't remember, yellow long neck. So people say the yellow long neck is the same as the Robert's Golden Rainbow. So I thought I'd grow both to see if I can tell the difference. And then this one here also has some pretty good sized figs on it. This one is the JH Adriatic, so hopefully we get those to ripen. I think the Adriatics normally take a longer season, but they look pretty good size, so maybe we'll get some of those. Let's see, this one here, we'll take a look at this one. It's got some purple figs. This is the Black Ischia. So I have a couple of Black Ischias, so this is the other one. And this row of figs doesn't look too bad. I top dressed the first 2 here with compost, and they're looking okay. I didn't do a top dressing on the rest of these, but let's see, this is Socorro Black. That one has some pretty good sized main crop on it. We've got, let's see, Black Greek Marius. Those figs has actually quite a few figs in there of various sizes. Oh, we got one that turned purple, so that one doesn't feel like it's going to ripen. So that one is kind of soft and feels kind of dry, so I figured I better just pick that one off. We got Floria, I believe. Yeah, Floria is a new one that I picked up from a friend last year, and we've got some baby main crop figs on there. I'm not sure if they're gonna ripen this season. They're still kind of small. We've got some pretty good sized main crops on the, let's see, what is this? Brown Sugar Crunch. So this is supposed to be a really tasty fig, so I'm looking forward to hopefully getting some off that one. And this one, another Red Lebanese Baca Valley. So this is a variety that I have, I think, 2 or 3 fig trees of. Now this one does not look good. This one, the leaves are just curling up, so they're not turning yellow and dropping. In this case, they're just drying out. So I do have this one in a different type of plastic. So this plastic is a lot more, I think, thin than these other ones. So I don't know if it's getting too hot maybe in this container compared to these other ones, because it is a different material. That's really the only difference. I think it has a slightly wider container as well. So I don't know, I may need to change out that pot into a different one. And we've got Vern's Brown. Both of these were Vern's Brown Turkey, I believe. Yeah, so I've got 2 Vern's brown turkeys. It's a really good tasty fig. This one has some pretty good sized main crops on it, though it is, some of the leaves are kind of yellowing a bit, so it may drop those, we'll see. And then we've got St. Martin here with 3 pretty good sized, actually these 2 are coming out of the same node, so normally I think I will take out one of those. I don't like having 2 figs coming out of the same space, so hopefully that will help it out a little bit. Okay, lastly I wanted to show you how my fig cuttings are doing that I started this season. They are looking really good. Okay, these 3 are the DTEs, or Detresse Esplet. If you saw my last fig update, I think these were all kind of looking like they had some fig mosaic issues on them, but look at the leaves now. They're looking really nice and healthy, so I think since potting them up into these larger containers, these are only 1-gallon containers. They're probably going to go up to 3-gallon next year, or maybe even later this summer or fall. But they're looking really nice and healthy now. These were in the greenhouse up until a couple weeks ago, so I just moved them outside. The only one that was having issues now is this one. So this one had some spider mites on them, and you might be able to tell from the fig here. Probably should just take those off, but there's kind of a mottled, kind of speckled look to the fig, and that is the spider mites. So it had spider mites all over the leaves. You can see the leaves are probably kind of speckled colored. So the new leaves are looking pretty good, so I don't know if it still has an issue, but it is looking a little bit better since I took it out of the greenhouse. Now these are the other cuttings that I started this spring. This one is the St. Rita. And this one, I think, a couple of these got a little bit sunburned, I think. It's when you move from the greenhouse environment to direct sunlight, it's a little bit harsh on them. And so the leaves are looking a little bit toasty on that one, as well as this one is looking even worse. You can see the leaves are, if you can hear that, they're kind of crispy. But the new leaves that are coming out are looking really nice and healthy, so hopefully this one will be okay. But this one is the tiger, the Panache Tiger fig. And then we've got Grandpa Simon's fig here, and it's looking okay. They're curling up a little bit on some of the leaves, and I think that is because of the harsh sunlight. So I kind of moved them over here where it's a little bit more shady, so hopefully they'll recover okay. Then the last one, we've got another St. Rita. This one, I don't know, this one does not look all that great. So this is the only fig cutting that looks like it still has some fig mosaic virus issues. So I'm not sure what's going on with that one. I still have the tape on there on this one for some reason. I don't know if that's causing problems, but I think I'm going to go ahead and remove that. Oh, there's a fig on there too. I should probably remove that. I'm going to go ahead and remove it. But I'm going to remove this tape that I used for the rooting, just to see if maybe that might be causing some issues. So that is the fig update for July. I didn't show every fig because there's just too many, but I think I gave you a pretty good idea of how things are going this year and the struggles I'm facing with some of my older trees. Hopefully we have some better luck with those next year, and top dressing with compost, I think, is what I'm going to be doing going forward. If you have any suggestions on other things I could try to fix my issues, let me know. Thanks for watching, and we'll talk to you again soon. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe. You can also find me on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook.